Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us here at the First Alert Desk. I'm Maria Moreau, here to take you through your top stories and what's been happening. If you've been following along with us on Atlanta News First all morning long, we have some major developments and some stories we first brought to you last week and over the weekend. Let's get into some of those if you haven't been with us this morning. Let's get you caught up quick. Starting with this story right here, out of Tara Woods Apartments in Clayton County, a dire situation for dozens of families now turning into a reality. We have learned through our reporter that Clayton County Water Authority has officially disconnected the water, is in the process of doing so. They said at 10 a.m. they would be shutting off water for residents in the building. And if you're wondering why, the reason, apparently the apartment manager owes nearly $100,000 that hasn't been paid. Now, Clayton County Water Authority has previously told us that they have tried to work with this apartment manager, with the building owners, but that debt does have to be paid, and they said they were left with no choice. The water is being cut off today. Really, the residents are the ones who are going to feel the impacts of this pretty much immediately. The Clayton County Water Authority said they will continue to work with the fire department and county code enforcement to make sure that every resident has a place to go. And some major developing news involving a South Fulton County mayor. We're just learning over the weekend, we first brought this to you, the city of South Fulton mayor arrested for criminal trespassing. Now, the mayor is now out of jail on bond, but the question remains, will he resume his duties as mayor? Atlanta News First reporter Rebecca Schramm has been following this story out of South Fulton. Here's the latest.
In a statement, city officials told us they expect the mayor to return to his duties here at City Hall. He is accused of walking onto someone's private property and into their lake house without permission. Take a look at the mugshot for Mayor Khalid Kamau. He was arrested at a home on Cascade Palmetto Highway. I've been looking through the police report, and the mayor claims he thought the home was abandoned and that he wanted to check it out because it was his dream home and he wanted to purchase it. The owner, who uses that home for storage but lives nearby, got an alert on his phone that someone was approaching his property. According to the incident report, he held the man at gunpoint, not knowing at first that he was the mayor. Mayor Kamau declined to talk about it as he left the jail with his attorney. We want to mention he was originally charged with burglary along with the criminal trespass, but according to the police report, the judge told the arresting officer there wasn't enough evidence to proceed with the burglary charge. We spoke with City Councilwoman Natasha Williams Brown, who stepped in as interim mayor shortly after the arrest. Here's what she told us.
Obviously, my immediate reaction was disbelief. You don't ever expect to get a phone call getting you out of bed saying, that the mayor has been arrested. Keep in mind that the mayor is our fellow, brother in Christ. We want to be mindful of the fact that this is a difficult moment for him.
Mayor Kamau has had a number of run-ins with city officials, including the police chief, since he was sworn in about a year and a half ago. We have chronicled all of that for you on our website. We'll be checking today to see if he resumes his duties as he awaits his next court appearance in September. In South Fulton, Rebecca Schramm, Atlanta News First.
And speaking of a sewage spill, we got another one for you, unfortunately. You're urged to steer clear of Sewell Mill Creek in DeKalb County. There was apparently a sewer line failure near Pimlico Court in Marietta. Now, officials are saying it caused an overflow into the creek just upstream of East Cobb Park. Repairs are being completed. Bacteria levels in the creek right now are just currently being monitored. But for the meantime, the safest bet is just to avoid that portion of the creek until the test results are complete. Now, I want to make sure that we are clear. This is in addition to the lingering concerns surrounding the Chattahoochee River. The two are not connected, but this is another creek that you're going to want to avoid along with the 15-mile portion of the Chattahoochee. The most affected areas for the Chattahoochee are just south of Azalea Park in Roswell. Crews are working to get the water back to normal, but until we have those updates for you in our free Atlanta News First app, you're just going to want to avoid the area as best as possible. And some good news for parents who are starting to think about the back-to-school process. The Georgia Department of Human Services now has approval to start sending out funds to families with kids who qualify for free or reduced lunch at school. It addresses a critical pressure point for families in need, helping feed kids as the summer months get into full swing. Now, families will soon get a lump sum of about $120 per student within the next few months. The exact timing depends on when the student's school submits data to the state. That is such a huge deal. I remember when I was going to school, those free or reduced lunch programs helped me and my family a ton, and there's just something reassuring about not having to worry about making sure your child has their basic needs met like that. A wonderful program that's hopefully going to bring some relief to a lot of parents. And I know it seems like every week we're telling you about a new scam going around, but it's because we want to keep you safe. There is a new one popping up around DeKalb County that we want you to be aware of. And a lot of people think, when they hear scams like this, I'm too young or I'm too smart to fall for this. But as DeKalb County Sheriff Maddox says, it happens to people both young and old, whether you're technologically savvy or not, and it could cost you thousands of dollars.
I have no idea what the person was thinking. All I know is they're out of $14,000 now.
DeKalb County Sheriff Melody Maddox says a phony phone call ended with a DeKalb resident wiring thousands of dollars to a stranger earlier this week.
It's a scam.
At least twice since Monday, Maddox says her department has taken reports that someone is posing as a DeKalb County deputy and tricking people into thinking they owe the county money.
The suspect stated that they were going to arrest the individual because they missed a jury duty date, and they had to pay this money to keep from being incarcerated in the jail.
The sheriff says her own cousin was a near victim, but ignored the caller's request to meet in person to exchange cash. Investigators are now working to track the perpetrator down.
We will not tolerate that. I will not tolerate it as the sheriff, creating so much hurt and disheartening activity to our citizens is not going to take place here.
As a reminder, Sheriff Maddox says never give out personal information like your address and social security number over the phone. And her best advice?
We'll hang up the phone or have them to call me and let me have a little fun with them.
Chelsea Bime for Atlanta News First.
All right, and as you heard, we will have a full link for you on our website at atlantanewsfirst.com, including a very useful tool. It's the Better Business Bureau's scam tracker. If you go to that, it can tell you whether this is a previous scam that was reported, but really the best bet, as stated, contact your local authorities, whether it's court or law enforcement, depending on which scam you're receiving, and just ask. It doesn't hurt to ask, and they're always happy to help. All right, we got to talk about some weather news happening, especially out of the Northeast. Now, the Northeast right now, under a state of emergency, more than a foot of rain fell in Orange County, New York, and then heavy flooding shut down a highway in Reading, Pennsylvania. These storms apparently stalling flights at airports across the countries, anything from cancellations and delays affecting hundreds and thousands of people, and residents up there are just bracing through it all. Now, here in Atlanta, we might not have a state of emergency, but we do have a first alert for you. Meteorologist Courtney Giacobazzi is going to break down your forecast for the week ahead and just some planning you can do weather-wise.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, crazy video up from the Northeast. They've really been getting slammed with some insane weather. And here at home, we've had our fair share of rain, of course, and some issues because of that. We had a few flash flood warnings this morning, and, of course, we had a tree come down on a woman's home in parts of Atlanta. So we've definitely had a busy morning in the weather department, which naturally meant a busy morning on the roadways. If you were following with us on Atlanta News First this morning, it was a pretty busy morning out there. Thankfully now we have decided to drop our first alert because of the rain now pushing out of most of the metros. So a drier trend on the way for the second half of the day and some actually drier air. How about that for summertime? I'm First Alert Meteorologist Courtney Giacobazzi. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I think a lot of you took a longer week for your 4th of July holiday. And if you did, nothing like going back to work on a Monday and it pouring rain outside, but we'll get you through it. Let's talk about what's happening right now. So all of the rain is actually along a cold front. And you might be saying, oh my gosh, a cold front in July? Yeah, so did we. To have a cold front move through and actually pass through North Georgia this time of year is pretty rare. Now, because we are in summertime, these aren't going to be fast moving fronts. So this front has been a pretty slow crawler, kind of knocked on our door last night around 7 o'clock and is still trying to progress through the state. This time of year, you don't have those essentially temperature gradients that are quite as sharp as you do in the fall and winter months and the spring. So these cold fronts just don't move through very quickly. They don't have quite the push from having temperature gradients be widely different. But what this is going to do for us as it pushes through is bring in some drier air to the area. So right now, still bringing rain to parts of Rockdale County, Morgan County, Clark County, places south of the city. And this will continue to push south through the afternoon hours. Now, what Rodney and I have been watching is the potential for maybe a low to develop along these fronts. That's definitely not out of the ordinary if you do have fronts form this time of year. Sometimes that can actually promote tropical development, which we're not worried about. But what it will do for us is actually bring the potential for maybe some wraparound showers through the evening, maybe a rumble of thunder as well. So if you experience a quick drop of rain later this afternoon, don't be surprised. It is possible, but most of us will be dry. And speaking of dry, skies will clear through the day today, so some of us are already seeing sunshine. Here in Centennial Olympic Park, not quite yet, but in Cobb County, starting to see some sun come out. That will continue through the day today. And when those skies clear, that's your indication that that drier air is starting to usher in. And take a look at this. As that dry air moves in, the thing about dry air is it cools very quickly. When you have that moisture in the air, temperatures don't rise and fall quite as fast, but dry air does. So what's going to happen is our temperatures behind that front are actually going to drop pretty nicely for this time of year. We'll be in the low to mid 60s. Now for downtown Atlanta, inside the perimeter, we do have you at 70 degrees tomorrow morning. But take a look at Blairsville, 62 degrees tomorrow morning with the low humidity. And some of the higher elevations of the mountains, you could be in the upper 50s tomorrow morning. Rome, you'll wake up at 66. Same in Canton. North of the city, you'll be again in the low to mid 60s, maybe some upper 60s. Overall, low humidity and 60s is going to feel fantastic for the morning tomorrow. So maybe give yourself a little extra time to get out the door tomorrow and take your coffee and sit on your back porch or something like that. That would just be a nice way to start your day tomorrow morning. Now, tomorrow afternoon will still be warm, upper 80s. Today, by the way, only in the mid 80s because of all that rain and cloud cover and that cooler air kind of ushering in behind that front. But upper 80s tomorrow, mostly sunny, dry and warm. Dry in the sense that we're not going to experience rain and the humidity will be lower. So it's just going to be a fantastic day tomorrow. That lower humidity will stick around for us all the way through Wednesday. So we completely take out the rain chance on Tuesday and Wednesday, as we are going to have again that lower humidity both Tuesday and Wednesday stick around. So super comfortable. Enjoy it while it lasts because it's not going to last long. It's already strange enough that we get a taste of lower humidity this time of year in the middle of July, or I guess kind of the beginning of July, but either way. And then we're going to have that summer-like pattern return for the end of the week where the humidity ramps back up. We have the afternoon showers and storms, temperatures in the low 90s. So just enjoy the day today. Today will actually probably feel pretty nice considering we'll only be in the low to mid 80s, despite the fact that we're not going to have loads of sunshine for the first half of the day. But overall, pretty nice start to the week now that the rain is moving out. Lower humidity ushers in tomorrow, sticks around Wednesday. Wednesday will be hot. We'll be back in the low 90s, but again, that humidity will be low, so it won't be, or not, I shouldn't say low, but it won't be super sticky and oppressive. And then Thursday through Sunday, we go back into a more summer-like pattern with scattered storms, highs in the low 90s. So again, enjoy the treat that we have on the way for Tuesday and Wednesday, because it really is going to just be spectacular. All right, everyone. Again, that first alert is now dropped for the day, so the rain is moving out, and it will continue to push south and east through the afternoon. Could maybe have a pop-up shower or storm through the afternoon hours, but most of us are going to be dry. The worst of it for us is pretty much over after a very rainy start. We will see you here next time. Thanks so much for spending some time with us, and enjoy tomorrow morning. It's just going to be beautiful out there for a July morning, so hopefully you can get out and enjoy it. We'll catch you here next time.